because when you look at the team that Frank Lampard has put out, it's very, very midfield orientated, and players in there who will be up for the fight and would be putting their foot in, competitive, and that's what they do need. But they also need that little bit of spark up front in order to get back into this tie.
A number were surprised with that starting lineup, although I had a word with Pat Nevin, and Pat always writes down in pencil his predicted starting 11, and that was the team that Pat went with. He can understand Frank Lampard's reasoning, similar to what you'd said earlier on when you were with Asmir and Kelly about the pressure they're going to create in the midfield. Lots of legs, lots of running.
I've heard he's trying to get a job as Frank's assistant, that's why. I'd have got a bit more attack-minded, I think, in order to get these fans on their feet. First 10 or 15 minutes of this game is going to be important, and at the moment you're looking and going, where is that spark, where is that goal going to come from in that first 10 or 15 minutes? And when you look at the bench, the talent they've got on there kind of maybe could have been a little bit stronger up front, but I'm there to be shot down if Pat Nevin's right, like Frank Lampard.
Well, all I will say is that if you do get the offer for 10 million a year, can I be your kit man? I'll just take a tiny percentage, that'll do me. Courtois is getting booed as he makes his way towards the end, away towards our right hand side. Chelsea fans, well, every football fan actually has got long memories, and when he left Stamford Bridge it was a rather messy exit. That's what Chelsea are trying to avoid here tonight as we're underway, and if anything, they're looking to try and produce a fine comeback against the European champions. So Chelsea in their royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks are defending the shed end, if you know your Stamford Bridge, playing from left to right, and Real Madrid are playing in their white shirts and shorts and black socks from right to left, as Chelsea get the ball over on that far side. And already there has been a red card in League Two. It's at Priestfield. Chris Temple.
And it's been followed by a goal. Ian Gillingham have taken a 1-0 lead here. Alex McDonald free kick as a result of a red card for Orient centre-half Omar Beckles for a professional foul on George Latchley. The Champagne may just be heading for some ice. It's Gillingham 1, Leyton Orient 0.
Yeah, basically promoted tonight, Leyton Orient, unless they were to lose and both Northampton and Bradford were to win. They could also claim the title of League Two tonight, but only if Stevenage failed to win. But Stevenage are already 1-0 up against Doncaster at Broadhall Way. So we'll keep you in touch with what is a busy night in the Football League, but also we've got 3 or 4 reporters dotted around the country at key games where issues might be settled. But here it's all about Chelsea and a positive start.
Well, it looks like Frank's gone for a kind of a 3-4-2-1 formation. We were looking at how that midfield would pan out, and certainly Conor Gallagher's gone quite high in just behind Havertz, and so is Conte. He's pushed up as well, leaving Kovacic in the midfield with Fernandes and then the 2 wing backs. So the 3 will try and keep Benzema, Rodrigo and Vinicius at bay, along with the wing backs when they drop back in those positions. But the midfield is kind of a little bit of a square, a little bit of a cube, if you like, with Havertz up top and the wing backs pushing in when they can.
That's the voice of Lee Dixon, who's with us here tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. Courtois continues to be roundly booed in a ready orange goalkeeping outfit away towards our right-hand side. Now the flags have been put away for the night. There's almost like an old-school feel here to Stamford Bridge, with the vocal support being generated. But the ball is lost in the midfield, picked up by Valverde. The referee skips out of the way, Daniel Orsato from Italy. As now it's with Camavinga. Camavinga strokes the ball back, and Alaba will just play the ball across the back to Militao.
Well, what it will do with playing that formation, Kante will be able to get a little bit closer to Kroos, the guy on the ball now, the number 8, the playmaker, if you like, for Real Madrid.
That was almost a loose ball from Camavinga, and it was required alert defending by Alaba. They've cleared it long, Real Madrid. Rodrigo was running forward on that right side. Little flick back by Benzema. Gallagher gets the foot into the challenge. Rodrigo coming back to help out. And now Kovacic, Cucurella going ahead of him. Carvajal, though, who was running back into that right back area, was with the interception. 3 minutes played, still 0-0 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Well, they've already give Real Madrid something to think about, Chelsea, with that formation, because the midfield players keep looking behind him, and Conor Gallagher's just pushed into the little number 10 space, and so is Conte on this right hand side. And if you get the opposition thinking about what you're doing, you've done half a job. Now you've just got to make it trouble when you do get the ball, and Havertz has got to be right on the last defender in order, when they win the ball, just to go and just head to goal, and hopefully you can get a few balls behind the back line.
Yeah, they certainly won't lack energy, full of running in the midfield. A couple of late stragglers just getting to their positions in front of us as we sit high up in the main stand here at Stamford Bridge. 0-0, 4 minutes played. West Bromwich Albion are leading at Blackpool by 1-0. Albeit they're 11th in the table, they are still actually in playoff contention as Blackpool continue to struggle. What were they, 4 points adrift at the start of play? Wesley Fofana will see it back to Kepa, all in green, bright orange boots, clears first time, right-footed. Carvajal waits, heads the ball forward. Rodrigo's onto it, closed down by Chalobah, plays it back to Carvajal. Now Militao, and now it is with Alaba, and Kroos, as he did actually in the first leg last week, just drops back alongside the central defenders, and Real Madrid are quite happy to keep it here at the moment. And now Alaba looks for the run of Benzema, but Thiago Silva saw that coming all day long and heads it away.
Well, they've looked for that long ball 2 or 3 times now, Madrid, right deep from over the top of the Chelsea back four. They haven't got one over there yet, but they're trying to use that pace over the top.
This is Real Madrid with Modric out of play. It's going to go for a throw. Sally Badjala, you've seen a goal at Scotland.
Yeah, and it's disaster for Rochdale. Rochdale 0, Tranmere Rovers won a back pass to goalkeeper Richard O'Donnell. He misread it, miscontrolled it, and the ball has ended up in the back of the net. Rochdale 0, Tranmere Rovers 1.
Rochdale could be relegated tonight, ending their 102-year stay in the Football League. Now Benzema's hobbling. He's picked up a bit of a knock there.
Yeah, he has. He's limping quite heavily as well on this. Looks like his left ankle. He just took a whack in that last challenge where he went down pretty quickly, and he's waving over at the bench and limping over this way towards us.
Rochdale, if they fail to win and Crawley win and Harrogate avoid defeat, that will see Rochdale drop into the National League, and Harrogate already leading at home to Walsall. 0-0 though here in the Champions League. Camavinga runs into trouble. The Italian referee gives a free kick to Real Madrid, and it remains 0-0 here in these opening 6 minutes.
Well, they've been competitive, Chelsea, in this first 6 minutes, and that's mainly because of those 2 positional changes that Frank's made, and just pushed Conor Gallagher a little bit higher, and Conte, and they're just able to connect with the deep line midfield players. Valverde, Kroos and Modric taking time to drop deep.
Militao hits a long diagonal ball. Vinicius Junior on the inside of Reece James, and then delivers the cross, but it was arcing its way over the head of Benzema. It's frightening, his record in the Champions League, but against English clubs, each of his last 11 goals in the Champions League against English opposition.
Ouch. Well, he pulled off right to that far post then. It was the first time really Reece James has come into contact with Vinicius. The left winger has been wide, and he's been picked up by Fofana most of the time, but on that occasion he checks on his right foot and Reece James lost him, and he was able to put a deep cross in just over the top of Benzema's head.
Free kick. That was Wesley Fofana on Vinicius. Free kick to Real Madrid near side the left. Benzema, incidentally, making his 150th appearance in the Champions League tonight. Only the 5th player to reach such a landmark. Ronaldo, Casillas, Messi and Xavi are the other 4. 0-0, 8 minutes in. Accrington Stanley 0, Peterborough United 1 is a latest score elsewhere, as Cucurella waits to take the throw for Chelsea, as eventually Cucurella on that far side the left, not a great deal of movement, but gets it back from Kovacic, lifts it in the air. Militao heads it away before it can reach Havertz, popped up by Valverde, headed away then once more And then the ball goes all the way up towards Courtois. And I don't think those boos are going to stop all night for Thibaut Courtois. 154 appearances before he left from 2011 to 2018. Contributed to, well, that was a poor clearance. Goes towards Gallagher. Gallagher to Kante. Carvajal was quickly tucked in to redress the situation, although Camavinga's been closed down by Reece James. Just signs of Real Madrid being unsettled.
Well, terrible ball from Rodric. He saw a pass far side of the pitch, and he's on the near side, and he kind of completely mishit it and went straight to Conor Gallagher, who's in a really good position, and missed opportunity there for Chelsea because it was gifted to them by the normally very steady Modric.
Free kick against Kovacic. Sometimes, though, you can have a catalyst in a game, can't you, where that can just spark something.
Well, I think they started really well, Chelsea. Real Madrid have had the ball quite a lot possession-wise, but they've been controlled. The press has been good, and that's because of those different lines in the midfield that Frank set them up with. They're able to make contact with a white shirt all over the pitch. They've just got to get to the other end now. Conor Gallagher's making a good run through the middle.
And Kovacic had spotted that run in through that central area and required Militao to head the ball out of play for a throw. It's taken quickly on this near side, the right. Two balls on the pitch at the moment. One of them's quickly knocked out of play. Fernandes to Kovacic outside the centre circle. Chalobah joins the attack. Cucurella will play the ball back to Chalobah. And now Chalobah will float it out towards Reece James, who takes it neatly off the chest and delivers the early cross. Havertz was there. Kante! Oh, he's put it wide. Unmarked. 10 yards out from goal. Left-footed. Golden chance squandered.
Well, he's played a little bit higher up than he normally does, and he's going to get opportunities to get in the box, and on that occasion he was free as a bird. Havertz, the ball comes in from James on the right-hand side. It's a good cross, a little bit behind him. He doesn't get enough on it, but it falls to the left foot of Conte, and he's 12 yards out, the goal gaping, and he snap-upped it into the crowd. A real huge opportunity for Chelsea.
Oh, it was. It really, really was. N'Golo Kante, whose last goal was actually in November 2021, but he won't get much of a better opportunity to end that run without a goal. And that will certainly offer more encouragement for Chelsea. 0-0. Havertz coming forward. Man over is Kante on this near side, the right. Kante delivers the first time cross outside the area. Shot from Enzo Fernandez. Blocked. Fernandez will run over towards that left-hand side. Keeps it in play. And the Argentine, the World Cup winner, goes down the line to Cucurella. Cucurella won't go out of play. Carvajal instead will win a throw for Real Madrid. We're going to go now to Rotherham. There's been a goal. Adam Cottier.
Rotherham 0, Burnley 1. As it stands, Burnley will win the title tonight. Scott Twine with it, a control volley, left-footed from Connor Roberts' right wing cross into the bottom right corner. Lovely goal. Rotherham 0, Burnley 1.
Yeah, just to win the title. Already promoted, of course. They just had to better Sheffield United, who are still drawing 0-0 at home to Bristol City. Oxford United 0, Portsmouth 1 is a latest score. Newport County 0, Mansfield Town 1 is the latest score in League 2. Camavinga almost caught in possession. Kroos steadying influence in the midfield to Modric on this near side, the left. Vinicius Junior goes on the outside of Wesley Fofana, and there was a touch off Fofana, and it will be a Real Madrid throw.
Oh, Vinicius is just in front of the Real Madrid fans, and he's waving his arms up in the air as if to say make some noise, because the Chelsea fans are really behind their team, and quite rightly so. They've started this game absolutely perfectly as far as Frank Lampard is concerned, and the fact that they can get actually close to a white shirt and put them under pressure, and Real Madrid are looking a little bit shaky, I have to say.
Gallagher makes that run ahead of Cucurella, and it just teeters along the touchline and out of play then for a throw to Real Madrid. But for a Chelsea side, bearing in mind that goal against Brighton was their first goal in 6 hours and 27 minutes, so we hear about players lacking confidence. The start they've made in these opening 13 minutes must surely give them a bit more belief.
No, absolutely, because what it's done, you can hear it, it's lifted this crowd, and everyone in the blue shirt now can hear that. And on the pitch, they're actually getting, the biggest thing is they're getting close to a Real Madrid player.
Chalobah into Havertz. Havertz inside left channel, chips the ball back. Reece James couldn't control it. Side onto goal. Handball, was it?
Yeah, he just skipped off the turf and he bent down low to try and get his chest on it. And I think it flicked his knee and then it hit his hand. And the referee was absolutely spot on there. Reece James is saying nothing happened, and he's got to get back now because Real Madrid have got the ball back. But 3 blue shirts close in on Vinicius and get a tackle on him immediately and win the ball back on the halfway line again.
Well, they're certainly making it competitive, Chelsea. 0-0 in these early stages here on BBC Radio 5 live on BBC Sounds. Salford City looking to boost their League 2 playoff push. Lead Hartlepool United 2-0. Hartlepool could still drop into the National League themselves as Enzo Fernandez lifts the ball out towards Reece James. James, his cross, takes a deflection, enables Militao to head it out. On the stretch was Fernandez. Wesley Fofana tight behind Vinicius Junior. The Italian referee tells him to get back to his feet. Reece James, can Chelsea capitalise from what has been a promising 14 minutes here at Stamford Bridge? Come on Chelsea, is the chant from the faithful here in West London. Out towards Reece James once again, quick to double up on Reece James. Vinicius Junior and Camavinga. Out it goes once more to the England international. Plays the ball inside. Kovacic, Chalobah, back towards Kovacic, a former Real Madrid player. Right-footed out towards Reece James. Camavinga has gone in tight and quite narrow and allowed Vinicius Junior then to try and curb the run of Reece James, and it goes out for a goal kick. That's going to be a fascinating duel both ways on this side.
Yeah, it is, and why the two full-backs for Real Madrid are having to play quite narrow because of Gallagher and Conte playing narrow just behind Havertz, so that's causing a threat either side of the centre-backs for Real Madrid, so they're having to play a little bit narrow. They're getting pulled in by Militao and Alaba, and they're saying we need a bit of cover, and that's leaving the space outside, certainly for Reece James on this right-hand side. Cucurella's not had too much of the ball on the left, but there's definitely an avenue down this right for Reece James.
15 minutes in, and it's 0-0. Militao, wary of the harrying and the hassling of Conor Gallagher, forced to clear long, tied up by Chalobah to Kepa. He rolls it out towards Wesley Fofana. Fernandez then plays it to Wesley Fofana. Reece James has come short midway through his own half on this near side. It's a left-footed ball in field. Enzo Fernandez plays it forward to Havertz. Kante was already away on this near side, the right. Wesley Fofana advances over the halfway line, back towards Fernandez. He goes square. Kovacic outside the centre circle in the Real Madrid half, and Chalobah joins the attack. Cucurella's pushed up on that far side, the left. Fernandez, Havertz to Gallagher. Gallagher carves the ball forward to Cucurella, stays out wide, gets the early cross in. Chelsea win a corner, they're playing well.
Everyone behind that goal is up, clapping, cheering. They know, they can feel the energy, and the players can feel it on the pitch. Again, a really good move, this time on down the left-hand side. And the 3 most important people on the pitch at the moment are Fofana, Silva and Chalobah. Because Chelsea have had such a good start, they have to be super concentrated, because if it was to go down the other end and Real Madrid were to score, then this performance will be popped like a balloon. And they've got to keep the energy up, and they've got to stay concentrated. Don't give Real Madrid anything.
Reece James with a corner kick, far side to left. It's an in-swinger, didn't beat the first man. It was swept away to safety by Militao. Now it's tight at the top of League One. Sheffield Wednesday, who were third, are leading at Bristol Rovers by a goal to nil as the ball goes forward. Thiago Silva into the penalty area, heads it. Havertz is there, and then dropping to his knees to chest the ball back. Was very coolly done by Carvajal, 6 yards out to Courtois.
Oh, Conor Gallagher's got to push in there. Carvajal had a little chest back to his goalkeeper, as you said, but he should be under pressure. Gallagher's just waiting the ball to come to him. Sometimes you've got to be the instigator and put the defender under pressure, and if the ball goes there, you can actually challenge. He's 4 yards out, far post.
Big game at the top of League 2, 5th versus 4th at Brunton Park. Stockport are leading at Carlisle United by a goal to nil. Dave Challoner's side still have hopes of automatic promotion as Alaba goes infield. Modric, forward ball, and Rodrigo to Carvajal. Modric now runs forward, and then they work it out towards Rodrigo. Up against Chalobah, goes on the outside, plays it in low. Thiago Silva was there, clears out a play for a throw. Well, and that's the threat.
That's the case in point. Rodrigo on that right side had the run on Chalobah, and the ball came in the box, but Mr. Experience himself, Silva, brilliant position, the John Terry position, near post, doesn't let anything past him.
So third place Stevenage are winning, fourth place Stockport are winning, and second place Northampton have now just taken the lead at Sutton, as Leyton Orient, the leaders, still not assured of automatic promotion, are behind at Priestfield by 1-0, and they're down to 10 men at the top of League 2. This is the Champions League. It's live on 5 Live, 18.5 minutes played. Vinicius Junior to Camavinga, back towards Kroos. Couple of steps forward. Valverde out towards Carvajal, Modric, Rodrigo and Benzema are all options ahead of him. Modric plays the ball back out towards Carvajal. Carvajal then pulls it back. Modric lets it run through towards Valverde. Back towards the Croatian. Diagonal ball to Rodrigo. Right corner of the area. Out towards Carvajal. He finds Rodrigo. Gets it under control. Gets the shooting angle. Actually strikes the outside of the post. Goal kick.
Yeah, he got the ball to feet and then he just had one little move to his right just to give himself half a yard, and then the shot came immediately after the move. Chalobah couldn't get the block on and it was high. It was just drifting past Kepa's left hand post and it just clipped the outside of it. Kepa probably would have had it covered if it had been on target, but again, that's what you've got to be aware of. They're so sharp up front when they get into the box.
In League One, it's Cambridge United 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1 as a latest score. 5 Live final score is available on the BBC Sport website and the BBC iPlayer. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds, nearly 20 minutes in, 0-0. Kovacic, as Camavinga's gone down. There are a number of Chelsea players who are on a yellow card. I think it's 8 in total within their Champions League squad. But Kepa, Thiago Silva, Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, Kovacic and Gallagher are the ones who are starting. Should they pick up a yellow, and should Chelsea, of course, against all odds, go through, they would miss it. He didn't show a yellow then, did he?
No, he
the
didn't.
ref?
I don't think he saw it. He just saw Camavinga go down and presumed there was a foul. Because I was looking at the referee and he was looking the other way when Camavinga hit the deck. So I think he kind of made it up and just thought it must have been a foul. He shouted quite loud.
Sunderland are leading at the Stadium of Light in the Championship at home to Huddersfield Town. Tony Mowbray's side still in with a shout of the playoffs. In fact, victory would take them into a playoff position, and they're 1-0 up on Wearside. Oxford United have equalised at home to Portsmouth, 1-1 at the Kassam Stadium. Ball played out to that far side. Rodrigo, little touch from Benzema, interception though from Cucurella. Cucurella now is going to bomb on ahead of Gallagher, who scoops the ball long on that far side, the left to Havertz. Militao was the one who dived into the challenge, and Militao is shown a yellow card. Now Militao will miss the first leg of the semi-final as a result of that yellow card, should Real Madrid go through to face Manchester City.
By the look of his face from here, even 40 yards away, I can tell the disappointment on his face. He knows it. He's getting a little high five with one of his teammates. Well, he won't be a happy boy, that's for sure.
Means he's got to be disciplined as well for the rest of the night too. Eder Militao giving away a free kick, then level with the penalty area far side to left. Chelsea are attacking the Matthew Harding stand as we look, playing from left to right. Real Madrid have got every white shirt inside their penalty area with exception of Vinicius Junior.
It's good position this is. Don't know, because Kovacic can just whip it into that near post.
In it comes now, didn't again, the delivery was rather flat, cleared away by Benzema, picked up by N'Golo Kante. Reece James, 10 yards in from the right touchline, runs away from Vinicius Junior, hits a searching ball that is headed back by Thiago Silva. I'm not too sure that he realised Enzo Fernandez was behind him. Instead, it's Cucurella who picks it up to Thiago Silva, flicks it now to Fernandez. The cross was blocked by Carvajal, loops to the edge of the area, lifted forward by Thiago Silva. It was a little heavy, and Courtois made the save.
Yeah, it was a good idea. He was just trying to lift it over the back line, and I think Militao's gone down with an injury in the box, and the goalkeeper, Courtois, has thrown it out of play so he can get some treatment. Didn't see what happened there, but it's happened 3 or 4 times now. The players have gone down, and certainly the Chelsea crowd are not very patient with any white shirt that hits the deck.
No, I would imagine that surely it's a little bit too early for the gamesmanship midway through the first half.
Never too early. Never too early, especially when you're under pressure. Certainly they don't want to concede a goal now, Real Madrid, because of this impetus that Chelsea have got, so they'll be using every little dark art to the fullest, and You're talking to someone who was probably the king of it. I used to know a few.
Yeah. Certainly didn't do Courtois any favours, because the little break in play, the Chelsea supporters decided to give more verbal grief to Thibaut Courtois in that stand away towards our right hand side. It remains Napoli 0, AC Milan 0. Milan lead 1-0, of course, on aggregate from the first leg. Ball out to Carvajal on that far side. The winners of this, we say, will face Manchester City. Confirmation, of course, will come tomorrow night in Munich, with John Murray and Stephen Warnock. Bayern against Manchester City live tomorrow. Thursday, we're in the beautiful city of Seville for Sevilla against Manchester United in the Europa League quarter-final second leg. And then more live football to look forward to at the weekend on BBC Radio 5 Live. Modric with Kante. Reece James inside. Kovacic coming forward now for Chelsea. Gallagher is ahead of him. Back it goes to Wesley Fofana. Wesley Fofana plays it forward now to Reece James in field. Everybody back bar Benzema at the moment for Real Madrid. Trevor Chalobah on the edge of the penalty area to Cucurella. Gallagher's made the run out towards the left, and now Cucurella will utilise him just in from the touchline, 25 yards out from goal. Ball goes in long. Camavinga got the shout, ducked under it, out it goes for a goal kick. Yeah,
good shout. Whoever gave it to him, he knew that he could just let it go. I think Reece James could probably push in as a wing back. Ball coming in from the left hand side, he can push in as that far post man and let Kante go into the middle of the goal. You've got to cover all angles. When the ball's coming in the cross into the box, there's no point 2 or 3 of you being in the same area.
Lee Dixon is with us here tonight at Stamford Bridge as the goal kick is taken short. Benzema drops very, very deep midway through his own half. Back it goes to Militao. Militao edging his way forward, and then he hits a right-footed ball to Vinicius Junior. Wesley Fofana looks to close him down, running back to double up on Reece James. The cross comes in from Vinicius Junior. Rodrigo forced out wide, can't control the ball, but he will keep it in play. Has support from Carvajal level with the penalty area. He plays the ball a long way back towards Kroos. Kroos forward now. Rodrigo turns, look towards Benzema. Thiago Silva with a well-timed header. Kante's given it away. Just stepping forward was Alaba, very congested there in the midfield. Put into the challenge from Havertz. Modric, referee, I think, has played the advantage there. Just checks on the welfare of Kroos, who might have been caught in the process. 26 minutes played, still 0-0. Vinicius Junior tightly marked by Wesley Fofana. Breaks to Valverde. Hurried ball in field towards Kroos. Certainly not giving Real Madrid much time to settle.
No, every time Real Madrid player gets the ball, it's 2 or 3 yards. There's a blue shirt right on him, maybe 1, sometimes 2 and 3 at a time. And that's working a treat at the moment. Just got to benefit from the pressure they've got on Real Madrid at the moment. And at the other end, they haven't created an awful lot of chances. That's the one thing you would say.
Just a talking to at this occasion from the Italian referee Daniel Ossato to Thiago Silva. It's a free kick to Real Madrid. That Kroos will play forward. Rodrigo comes into a central area, lays it off to Camavinga. He goes out wide near side the left. Vinicius Junior back towards Modric. 6 yards in field, he will find Kroos. Little touch by Rodrigo, links up now and plays the ball to Vinicius Junior, coming in off the left touchline, threatening this. Vinicius Junior beaten out by the goalkeeper Kepa, just in front of his head. Pushed the ball away with both hands as Real Madrid. That's the second decent chance that they've offside. Second decent chance that they've created.
Yeah, actually Silva did well there because he cut out the cross. He said, you're not crossing it, you can have a shot, and you're not going to score past my goalkeeper from there. So he encouraged him to have the shot. In the end, Kepa, it was an easy save, but he just wandered offside, Vinicius Junior, when he got the ball. And the linesman's flag goes up late, as it normally does.
Yeah, some things never change, whether it's the Premier League or the Champions League. 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge on a fresh night in West London. Giroud, I'm hearing, has missed a penalty for Milan. It remains 0-0 in Naples, but Giroud has missed a penalty. Milan lead 1-0 on aggregate. Kroos hooks it long downfield. Millwall 0, Birmingham City 1 is a latest score in the Championship. Millwall were 5th and in the playoff position. So that's a blow at the dent as Birmingham lead just before the half hour there. Here is Havertz, picks the ball up, shrugs off Camavinga, leaves it towards Reece James. Reece James runs in field, in between Kroos and Vinicius Jr. Now Kovacic plays a forward diagonal ball. Gallagher on the turn, out to Cucurella. First time cross from the left-hand side, just over the head of both Kante and Havertz. Out it goes for a throw.
And that's what I was talking about. Reece James got caught in midfield, then winning the ball back and then passing it, but he didn't get time to come out to this far side again, or near side as we're looking, in order to press the play in when the ball comes into the box. That's part of his job as a wing back, is to try and get into the box to the other side. But Kovacic is really important, Deno, for Chelsea, because when you've got those two midfield players ahead of you, and Gallagher and Kante as well as Havertz, he's the one that's linking the play from the right to the left and the switch, and he's picking the ball up now from the goalkeeper as well. His passing and his accuracy and his link-up play is going to be vital if Chelsea are going to keep this pressure up.
Well, they've certainly maintained that pressure in the opening half an hour, but it still remains 0-0. A couple of scores to tell you in League One. Sheffield Wednesday are currently top of League One. They now lead Bristol Rovers by 2-0, and Peterborough United, doing their playoff hopes no harm whatsoever, have got a second goal at Accrington Stanley. Reece James, meanwhile, midway through the Real Madrid half, to Kovacic, out to Cucurella. Wycombe now lead at Cambridge by 2-0. You're up to date with the goals elsewhere. Here is Enzo Fernandez, plays it short. Thiago Silva comes onto it. Every outfield player in the Real Madrid half. Forward ball, Cucurella up at the back post, lifts it back. Gallagher couldn't keep the header down. Edge of the 6-yard box. Flag was up anyway.
Really good move. In the end, it's Cucurella who just gets the ball, keeps the ball in on that far side. And Conor Gallagher goes up for the header. I think he thinks that Alaba's going to win the ball, and it goes over his head, and he's 6 yards out. He must have been offside, or the ball went out for a goal kick. But it's an infringement. The referee blew his whistle, but again, a half chance for Chelsea.
He scored his first goal at Stamford Bridge here at the weekend. That first goal in 6 hours and 27 minutes to end Chelsea's goal drought, although of course their losing run continued since Frank Lampard has returned, as Enzo Fernandez looks to try and release Havertz away on that far side, hooked further away by Carvajal. Valverde's going to come under pressure. He has to run away from Enzo Fernandez, and he releases Rodrigo, who's beaten Cucurella. Passes the ball inside towards Benzema. Benzema down into the ground, right-footed, easily saved by Kepa. Another goal at Rotherham, Adam Cottier.
It is Rotherham 1, Burnley 1. Shane Ferguson's right wing corner creeping in, possibly off a Burnley defender. It's Rotherham 1, Burnley 1.
And because it's Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0, it means that the title will still not be going to Burnley tonight, but it's only a matter of time. If ever there was a team to say champions elect, then it's Burnley.
Sticking your neck out there, aren't you? They've been superb this season, they really have. What he's done there and how they've transformed the club and the playing style and everything has been something to watch. Can that hold up in the Premier League next season? We'll see.
Can they hold on to him for the Premier League next season? As Modric enters the penalty area. Modric beaten down by Kepa, running in the inside right channel of the penalty area. It was a right-footed shot, and Kepa had to be alert.
It came from nothing, that, didn't it? We were just chatting away, and all of a sudden Modric is in the box with the angle was tight for him, but it was a bit of a funny save from Kepa. It was kind of going across him, and he flapped both wrists at it, and it went out for a corner, sort of against the way the ball was spinning, but an awkward save, should we say.
Just got about 13 minutes to go to half-time. It's still 0-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Real Madrid have got a corner kick, far side to right, shed end of the ground here at the bridge. It's an outswinger, and it's met by the head of Thiago Silva, but it goes back out towards Toni Kroos, who backheels the ball now to Rodrigo. His first time cross blocked by Reece James, balloons up in the air, bushy head. Cucurella looks to try and clear, and then it's laid back to him by Kante, and there was a late challenge there, and the referee will give a free kick, which means that we can go to Scotland for a half-time score in League 2, and Sani Rudravajula has the details.
Well, it's Rochdale 0, Tranmere Rovers 1, and as it stands, Rochdale will survive, but mathematically that would be the case. Remember, the bottom two in League Two go down. Rochdale are bottom. If they lose this game, they're relying on a result from Crawley Town, who are currently 0-0 with Colchester. They are on 42 points. That's the maximum that Rochdale can actually get in total. So Rochdale, as it stands, will be staying up, but only because Crawley aren't winning. Very, very dark times here at Scotland. They've been booed off at half-time. Let's see what we can do in the second half. Rochdale 0, Tranmere Rovers 1.
Enzo Fernandez battling for the ball on the edge of the area. He thought he was being impeded, waved away by the Italian referee, and then that was a late challenge, and Cucurella is definitely going to get the yellow card. And without any hesitation, Daniel Osato shows a yellow to Cucurella. Now, unlike Chilwell last week, he will certainly need to show discipline. He can't afford to go a second yellow.
Well, Courtois getting it again from the Chelsea fans to our right. Every time he goes anywhere near his goal, he's getting all sorts of abuse down there. But they've done really well, Chelsea. What they've got to do now is capitalise on that. Just try and get a few more men forward when they do get the ball in good wide positions, and just take a bit of a chance, because everything else is going really well. They've limited Real Madrid to a couple of angled shots, but nothing really to talk about. And the possession wise and the good play and the closing down and the getting close to Real Madrid players has been excellent.
Second placed Ipswich, bit of a surprise. Managerless Port Vale are leading at Portman Road. Ipswich Town 0, Port Vale 1. Remember, Sheffield Wednesday currently going top, leading 2-0 at Bristol Rovers. Plymouth drawing still away at Shrewsbury. Barnsley still have outside automatic promotion hopes, but they are 0-0 away at Lincoln City 2 at the top of League One. In fact, half-time at Shrewsbury, Chris Coles.
0-0 with League One leaders Plymouth. Ian, Plymouth dominating possession, not doing a great deal with it. The best chance, a Matt Butcher header acrobatically clawed away by Marco Morosi in the Shrewsbury goal. And as you've mentioned, Plymouth currently dropping to second, given Sheffield Wednesday leading Bristol Rovers 2-0 and would go top. Ipswich slipping to third, currently behind to Port Vale.
Here is Wesley Fofana inside the last 10 minutes of this first half on 5 Live. Kovacic. Now, can Chelsea's first half performance bring them a goal to set us up for an exciting second half here at Stamford Bridge? Kovacic out to Reece James, level with the penalty area. Camavinga goes tight towards him. He wriggles away, gets the return ball back and away from Camavinga. Reece James with a good ball in, turned away by Alaba inside the 6-yard area.
Brilliant opportunity for Reece James to put it right into the danger area, and he just hits the first man. To be fair, Alaba did reasonably well, but you just want a little bit more quality on that cross, and Chelsea were in.
I can tell you that Sutton United have equalised at home to second place Northampton. It's 1-1 there, and no promotion as it stands for Leyton Orient. Chris Temple.
Well, they would still be going up, even though they're trailing 1-0 here at Gillingham with 10 men, because Northampton and Bradford are only drawing. The title only a possibility tonight if Orient turn this round to win. The goal on 15 minutes from Alex McDonald for Gillingham, shortly after Omar Beckles of Orient was sent off for a professional foul on George Lapsey. There have been 5 yellows and a red, one of them for Orient boss Richie Wellens, who's very frustrated. Orient still going up as it stands, but 1-0 down with 10 men.
No title for them though, because Stevenage are leading 1-0 at home to Doncaster. Thanks, Chris. 37 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. It remains 0-0 on a busy night of live football. Reece James plays it forward to Kante, makes the run in behind Camavinga. Kante with a cross. Cucurella tried to get there inside the D. Rodrigo turns to Carvajal. His ball in field was a hurried one. It reached Modric. It's then pushed forward by Kroos. Vinicius Junior now towards Modric, and Modric running forward over the halfway line. He's got Benzema to his right and Vinicius Junior to his left, and there was Reece James, who did ever so well to get back to prevent the ball reaching Vinicius Junior.
Well, sometimes just getting back is enough, and on that occasion it was a terrible ball from Modric. He should have done better, and Reece James couldn't believe his luck that jogging back has enabled him to defend for his team.
Now Wesley Fofana on a marauding run from the back on the right hand side, infield to Enzo Fernandez. Havertz 25 yards out from goal, back to Fernandez. He goes square to Kovacic, had to stretch a fraction 6 yards forward of the centre circle, and then the ball is played to Enzo Fernandez, just lacking that focal point, particularly when Havertz drops off.
Yeah, they've had a lot of play, Chelsea, and a lot of decent possession and some good positions to put crosses in, but you just get a feeling that you can't see anybody scoring at the moment, can you?
No.
A blue shirt, there's just no real, as you said, no focal point in the middle of the box when the ball goes wide.
Here is Enzo Fernandez. There will have to become a point where Chelsea will have to throw caution to the wind, trailing 2-0 from last week's first leg in the Bernabeu. Here we are 6 days later, 0-0 as we're edging our way towards half-time. Kovacic, a former Real Madrid player, out towards Kante. Kante's closed down by Camavinga. Digs the ball back along the ground towards Reece James. Reece James, short forward ball, right corner of the area. Kante gets away from the snapping challenge of Camavinga, who then recovers ever so well for a sliding challenge, but behind for a corner kick. You're looking at a set piece at the moment for them to score.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that occasion, Conte doing really well on this right hand side again, and they forced him wide and in the end give the corner away, but good build-up play. And to be fair, I'm looking at the Real Madrid players, they don't look like they like, certainly the forward players, they like the defensive side of the game. Vinicius and Rodrigo are not really doing that much defensively, and it's causing a problem. They're getting outnumbered.
Cucurella with the corner, flicked on at the near post, strikes the back of the head of Gallagher. Courtois will pick it up as he runs out of that 6-yard box on that far side.
Again, that sums them up. Near post, really good ball, good near post flick, no one coming in at the far post.
Half time at Rotherham now, Adam Cottier.
1 Burnley 1 as it stands. Burnley will not be crowned champions tonight. They have to better Sheffield United's result. Scott Twine volleyed them ahead, but an equaliser at the stroke of half time in stoppage time. Shane Ferguson's corner, Vitinho's own goal. Rotherham 1, Burnley 1.
Half time at Bramall Lane, Aaron Paul.
Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0. The visitors have really come to play. They've had the best opportunity of the game. It's come for Harry Cornick, who smashed a volley into the arms of Adam Davis in the United goal. The hosts have created nothing, and that is why at the break it's Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0.
They're in duty on Wolf, almost forward to Gallagher, just away from him by Enzo Fernandez, through towards Courtois. We'll have news of that FA Cup semi-final, in fact both at the weekend on 5 Live. Manchester City, Sheffield United at 4:45 on Saturday, and then of course Brighton and Hove Albion against Manchester United on the Sunday, both live on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've got, 4.5 minutes to go to half-time. What have you made of this performance then from Chelsea?
It's been good. It's been the actual formation has worked for them. But again, what we said before, hang on a minute.
Modric played in right-hand side, delivers the ball earlier. Vinicius Junior. I can only imagine he was put off by the challenge of Wesley Fofana. He tried to open up his body to guide it in, and it went wide.
Well, what a brilliant challenge from Fofana. Because Vinicius Junior got on the inside of him, the ball into the box was brilliant, and he looked like he was just going to tap it in on the edge of the 6-yard box. But Fofana, who wasn't goal side, just reached and put him off, and the ball goes out for a goal kick.
You're looking at the lack of chances though that Chelsea have created. I mean, the Gallagher looping header wouldn't have counted because the flag was up. Apart from that one from Kante early on when it was left-footed, unmarked, down into the ground, but Reece James has done well to get away from Valverde, and he releases Kante on the right-hand side, and they'll win a corner off the legs of Alaba.
Again, good move, Kante going down the right-hand side. He had a little look up, not one player in the box. Three Chelsea players trying to get in there, but as again, if there's somebody in the box ahead of the defenders there, he can just try and pull it back, and he's got to tap in, and Havertz couldn't make the ground up.
So Chelsea playing from left to right, have a corner near side the right. 3 minutes to go to half-time, it remains goalless. Cucurella to take it. Should be an in-swinger off his left foot. In it comes now. Benzema inside the 6-yard box of the near post, heads it behind for another corner kick.
Well, lots of arms go up. Chelsea players saying you're supposed to be hitting this one far post. All the big lads at the far post with their arms up, and he hits it to the near post.
Cucurella this time plays it out towards Reece James, right corner of the area, back to Cucurella, swings it over left-footed. Courtois, good take, 6 yards out, confident take, underarm throw out to Valverde, tries to get past Kovacic. Valverde now runs away from the halfway line and away from Thiago Silva. Strong running by Valverde, looks up right-hand side, delivers the cross. Benzema arriving, left-footed volley off target, goal kick, 0-0.
Really good run on that right-hand side, powerful run. He outrun Thiago Silva, couldn't keep up with him, Valverde. And he had time just to look up, and he's just chipped it to the far post. And Benzema coming in just a little bit ahead of him, a little bit wide, but you wouldn't put it past him to swing that left foot into the top corner. Couldn't quite do it.
Milan have taken the lead in Naples. It's Napoli 0, AC Milan 1. Olivier Giroud has scored. He's atoned for his penalty miss, and it means that Milan are now leading 2-0 on aggregate with that goal 2 minutes before half-time. And bearing in mind that Inter, of course, won the first leg in Lisbon 2-0 against Benfica, we could be set for a Milan derby in San Siro. Both legs, what a spicy affair that would be. Whilst, as it stands, Real Madrid and Manchester City is likely to be the other semi-final in the Champions League. 0-0 on the night here in West London. 2-0 to the European champions overall, who've been awarded a free kick almost midway through the Chelsea half. It's the Spanish voices you can hear in the quadrant away towards our left-hand side. Kroos to take it. He leaves it. Alaba, left-footed, swings it over. Going to be run out of that penalty area by Havertz. Modric will go with him. Havertz just stops short of the halfway line, stumbles a fraction. Gallagher slides in to keep it with Chelsea. Reece James has to go back. Wesley Fofana, he passes the ball across the ball to the back there to Chalobah. We're inside the last 60 seconds here at Stamford Bridge. Kovacic, still a purpose about Chelsea's play. Enzo Fernandez just lacking a cutting edge, really.
Well, Frank Lampard would be delighted, because the way that Chelsea have played, yes, they haven't scored the goal, but they've put enough pressure on Real Madrid to keep them in the game. So they've kept them on the back foot, and they've actually had some decent possession. They've just got to go to the next level now.
Kovacic running forward, little flick on by Havertz. It might run towards Reece James. It's toe-ended away and out of play for a throw by Camavinga. About to find out how much stoppage time there will be from the fourth official down below, and it is 2 minutes of additional time which we're now into. The throw taken on the right. Enzo Fernandez comes forward, passes the ball out towards Reece James. Reece James infield, Enzo Fernandez, short and square. Kovacic runs forward. Havertz helps it on its way. Reece James right side of the area, teasing ball in. Cucurella, saved by Courtois. Cucurella had chance to steady himself. Courtois was quickly off his goal line, smothered it quickly, got the block in behind for a corner.
Well, that outlet on this right-hand side, Reece James again putting a brilliant ball into the box. 3 or 4 players missed it. Cucurella wasn't expecting it. Eventually comes to him, almost on the point of the 6-yard box. Takes one good touch. Courtois flew at him. Got 2 or 3 yards to cover and block the shot. But you have to say he's got to lift that into the roof of the net and score.
Cucurella with a corner on that far side, headed out. The volleyed attempt missed by Kovacic. Reece James, central position, out to Kante. Kante delivers the cross from the right-hand side. Militao beats Fernandez in the air. Kante tussling for the ball. Vinicius Junior comes back to help out. Well, you will know better than most, Lee, when you're playing at the top level, sometimes it's about fine margins, and you think about that save Courtois last week in the first leg, minutes after Chelsea had conceded the first goal, with a reflex save, diving away to his right, and here, as you say, he haired off that goal line.
Absolutely, he was waiting to see where the ball was going to bounce. 3 or 4 players missed it, as I said, and when the touch came from Cucurella, he was out. He just flew himself, thrown himself at the feet of Cucurella, and as I said, if he lifts that, he scores.
Gallagher has been penalised for just catching Modric. No action taken against the England international, but in stoppage time, what a lift that would have given the place here as well.
That's a different team talk at half time. I tell you, you go 1-0 up, Frank could have been all over that, and half time whistle goes.
And it's Chelsea 0, Real Madrid 0. Both sides have had chances. Kante early on, unmarked, down into the ground and wide. Cucurella then on the stroke of half time with a block from Courtois, and in between for Real Madrid, Rodrigo hitting the outside of the right hand post, and then Kepa making saves from both Vinicius and Modric. But Chelsea are certainly making a fist of it, and it remains Chelsea 0, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid though 2-0 up from the first leg here at half time. Kelly.
Ian Dennis and Lee Dixon at Stamford Bridge for us. Lee, as Deno was saying, that was a really impressive first half for Chelsea without quite managing to make the breakthrough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what the fans wanted was a really quick start. Yes, you want an early goal, but you want some pressure on white shirts, and Chelsea did that. The formation has worked for them with with the likes of Gallagher and Conte just going a little bit ahead of the midfield and just sitting behind Havertz. But as always, when you're looking, you put pressure on a team like Real Madrid, you have to capitalise, and they haven't done that. Right near the end, Cucurella, what a chance that is, and that, I'm sure Frank will be using that as his team talk and say, do you know what, we are in this time. They certainly are.
Asmir Begovic also watching this one. Asmir, Conte, Cucurella, both of them with chances to try and get Chelsea back into this tie.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think the first half could have gone any better in terms of Chelsea's play. They've been on the front foot. I think dominated most of that first half and created two fantastic chances, and unfortunately missing that cutting edge. But what they've done is certainly identified down Real Madrid's left side with Vinicius and Camavinga an absolute glaring weakness, because I think Reece James is dominating that game on the right hand side, getting crosses in, getting chances, getting corners, whatever it is. He's absolutely doing whatever he wants, and I think if he can continue to do that, then chances will come, but obviously Chelsea will have to take them.
And at half-time, Napoli trailing Milan by a 1-0, which makes it 2-0 to Milan on aggregate. Asmir, you've been watching this one as well. What have you made of it?
Well, Napoli started really, really quickly and fast as we expected. AC Milan withstood that pressure, handled it really well, and then got a penalty, which I think changed the game. And I know Giroud missed it, but from that moment on, Milan have been the better team. Giroud had an incredible chance again, 1v1 with the goalkeeper, which he missed, and after that it was Rafael Leao, as we said in the pre-match. His threat on the counter-attack with his pace and power is incredible, and he took the ball from pretty much his own half and created a goal on a plate for Olivier Giroud. And he's an unbelievable talent and player and world-class potential, and he absolutely created that goal.
Asmir Begovic with us this evening on 5 Live Sport all the way through till 10:30. Lee Dixon and Ian Dennis are at Stamford Bridge. We'll be back there very shortly for the second half of Chelsea against Real Madrid. The performance, if not the scoreline, going in Chelsea's favour in that first 45 minutes. They do have that 2-0 deficit, though, from the first leg at the Bernabeu. Big night as well in the EFL this evening. Burnley may have to wait to be crowned champions of the Championship. They're currently drawing 1-1 at Rotherham, and that's because Sheffield United are also drawing against Bristol City. Burnley need to better Sheffield United's result if they want to confirm the title. Blackpool getting beaten 1-0 at half-time by West Brom. It's Stoke 0, Wigan 0, Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 0, and Millwall 0, Birmingham City 1. Into League One, it's Accrington Stanley 0, Peterborough 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Burton 0, Bolton 1, Cambridge 0, Wickham 2, Exeter 0, Derby 0, Forest Green Rovers already relegated, of course, drawing 0-0 with Fleetwood, Ipswich 0, Port Vale 1, Lincoln 0, Barnsley 0, MK Dons 0, Charlton 0, Oxford 1, Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 0, Plymouth 0. Of course, there's lots to play for at the top of League One, where it is so close at the top of the table. In League Two, Leyton Orient just need to avoid defeat if they want to get promoted. They are trailing Gillingham by 1-0 at half-time in that game, so they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Carlisle 0, Stockport 1, Crawley 0, Colchester 0, Grimsby 0, Barrow 0, Harrogate 1, Walsall 0, Newport 0, Mansfield 1, Rochdale 0, Tranmere 1, Salford City 2, Hartlepool 0, Stevenage 1, Doncaster 0, Sutton United 1, Northampton 1, Swindon 0, Bradford City 0. As far as the National League is concerned, Yeovil will be relegated because they are drawing 0-0 at the leaders Wrexham. Wrexham also waiting. They can't be crowned champions today, regardless of what the score is in that game against Yeovil. Stirling Albion not going up just yet from Scottish League 2. They need to beat Dumbarton. That game is currently 0-0. We'll be back to Stamford Bridge very shortly, and we'll round up the rest of the day's sports headlines. Plus, we'll look ahead to Manchester City's game in Munich tomorrow night after the BBC News with Tim Daly.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. The SNP Treasurer Colin Beattie, who was arrested by police investigating the party's finances, has been released without charge this evening. The 71-year-old was taken into custody this morning. Residents in the Sudanese capital Khartoum have told the BBC they can still hear heavy gunfire despite the declaration of a 24-hour ceasefire. The two rival generals whose troops have been battling for control agreed to a humanitarian pause in the fighting. In the United States, a landmark defamation trial against Fox News, brought by a voting machine firm, has begun. Dominion alleges Fox News knowingly spread false claims the last presidential election was rigged against Donald Trump. The broadcaster denies that claim. And the Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill, has been shortlisted for an Ivor Novello Award 38 years after being released. The hit has experienced a resurgence since being featured in the Netflix programme Stranger Things. And that's the 5 Live News.
6 Music. Oof, banger, busting clouds left, right and centre. Start your day. You need a bit of audio sunshine? Don't worry, we have got you covered. The 6 Music Breakfast Show with Lauren Laverne. Putting the music together as we go, which is, for us, part of the fun. Music beyond the mainstream. You can really hear that beautiful analogue production. Some of our favourites and some brilliant selections courtesy of the 6 Music listeners. The 6 Music Breakfast Show with Lauren Laverne. Weekday mornings from 7:30. Listen on Sounds. 6 Music.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League
With Kelly Cates.
And there is Champions League commentary coming very shortly from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea trailing 2-0 to Real Madrid on aggregate. They were beaten 2-0 in the first leg. It's 0-0 in the second, but an impressive first half performance for Chelsea. We're going to head straight to Shrewsbury for the game against Plymouth. Big one at the top of the League One table. Chris Coles.
Oh, we knew this League One title race would be full of twists and turns, Kelly. And here's another one. Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 0. The League One leaders behind. Killian Phillips, great finish, well found, right-footed into the top corner. The home fans erupted, and Plymouth are behind and dropping to second as things stand. Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 0.
We're across all the permutations in the EFL this evening as we get to this point of the season where everything starts to be decided. World Snooker Championship continuing. Jamie Broughton is at the Crucible.
And we're watching the former semi-finalist Gary Wilson take on his fellow Geordie Elliot Schlescher. Wilson has scored heavily in this match. He's knocked in a break of 131. That was the highlight, plus a series of other 50-plus breaks. He's now 8-5 up, so he needs 2 more to book his place in the second round. On the other table, it's Joe Perry that's made a fast start against Robert Milkins in their first round match. He needs by 4 frames to 0.
Thank you, Jamie. And Emma Raducanu's first clay court match of the season ended in a straight sets defeat by Yelena Ostapenko at the Stuttgart Open. Ostapenko won 6-2, 6-1. Let's head to Munich now. Commentary tomorrow night at the Champions League quarter-final second leg between Manchester City and Bayern Munich. Former Liverpool defender Stephen Warnock has made the trip for us alongside our correspondent John Murray.
Yes, we are in the Allianz Arena. We're not where we'll be tomorrow night in the commentary position outside, but we're inside, deep in the stadium, in the conference room here with all of the red seats and the big picture of the arena behind the stage. And that's where earlier tonight we heard from Benjamin Pavard and we heard from Thomas Tuchel, and we heard as well from the Manchester City side from Ilkay Gundogan and from Pep Guardiola. All Stephen Warnock saying the kind of things that you expect when they're in their relative positions.
Yeah, I think so. I think the big thing for Thomas Tuchel is that they know this is a mountain to climb. They know it's going to be difficult. They will believe that they can get something out of the game. Whether they will win the game is win the tie is a completely different matter. From Pep Guardiola's point of view, it's about making sure that the team aren't complacent. But I think this is different this season. Obviously, with Haaland up front, I think there's a real belief within the team that this is the best form that they've been in coming into the latter stages of the Champions League, and you just get that sense that Manchester City are going to come here and do the job, and probably try and get it done by half-time and get out of here quickly.
Yeah. And Thomas Tuchel actually did describe it as a mountain to climb. But I thought, interesting, that sort of, the mind of the coach talking about how you haven't got to look at it as a mountain. You have to look at it just as the start of the journey. And he stressed it again and again that in the match, they need to take little steps.
Yeah, you speak to psychologists, and I've worked with many along in my time, and both football and out of football, and what they'll say to you definitely in football is break it up into even smaller segments of the game. Take it into 4 quarters if you want. Be 0-0 in the first quarter. Then if you can get 1-0 in the second quarter, go into half time. Then you're putting doubt into the Manchester City players' minds. Can you change the narrative? Can you then give the crowd something to feed off? If you can give the crowd something to feed off, then you stand a chance. The big thing that you can't do is concede the first goal if you're Thomas Tuchel's side and Bayern Munich. That cannot happen, because you know that if they score, effectively the tie's over. So it's about breaking it down into small phases. I think Thomas Tuchel's message will be, just win this game tonight and we'll see where it takes us. They're going to have to be perfect. They are going to have to be immense, and everyone's going to have to play at the maximum. They're all going to have to perform to a 10 out of 10 level to even stand the chance of winning this game.
And from a Manchester City point of view, I think one great weapon that they have in their armoury is the fact that Pep Guardiola managed here for 3 years. He knows what this place can do, so I think that makes him extra wary of what any Bayern team might be capable of doing. But anyway, this is what he said about what Manchester City's approach will be.
I've been here in Bayern Munich, and I know the mentality of this club. It's in everywhere. In the Sevenstrasse, is in the skin. And I know what they believe they can do it. We believe too. So when you are in this type of clubs, and we are going to try to build this feeling that whatever happens, we can do it. Like they have for the history they have in the past in this competition, and we are growing with that. I didn't say to the team at all, I said, be careful with Bayern Munich, I know how difficult they are after 3-0, don't relax. They are not relaxed, because they felt it, they know it, how good team it is, like everybody knows, could not be different, and what we have to do is, I believe in this type of games, when you are yourself and you look a lot on yourself more than the opponent, you are closer to what you are looking for. Because the opponent have many, many weapons, many, many things that can punish you. And that's why you have to be yourself, impose your qualities, your strength that you have as much time as possible.
The other news from Manchester City, of course, the fact that Phil Foden is here, so that's a big plus for them. I mean, it's remarkable the way that they've been able to manage the fitness of the players. And Foden, who's missed the last 4 matches after his appendix operation, he is here, and Pep Guardiola says he'll be on the bench. From a Bayern Munich point of view, Choupo-Moting might be starting the match. He's had a knee problem, so there is still a question. And Sadio Mane. What do they do with Sadio Mane, who was back in training today, was suspended the weekend, a fine of something like €300,000 for the incident, the altercation with Leroy Sané in the dressing room in Manchester last week. They trained today, and I'm told that Sané was in one group and Mane was in the other group.
Where does his future lie now? How does he integrate back into the changing room? Does he integrate back in? Is he accepted back in? It's a shame, because he's a talented player, but when you step over the mark, you have to be punished, and you have to accept the punishment that is thrown at you, and it's not looking great for him at Bayern Munich.
No, so we'll see what role Sadio Mane plays tomorrow night. Manchester City coming into this having won 10 matches in a row, including the first legs, 3-0 against Bayern Munich, clearly strong favourites. But anyone who knows anything about football knows what the latter stages of the Champions League can throw up. So we will have commentary from here in Munich tomorrow night on 5 Live.
Looking forward to it. John Murray and Stephen Warnock with you tomorrow night. Rochdale are clinging on to league football by their fingertips. Sani Rajavajala.
Yeah, an hour gone now. Rochdale 0, Tranmere Rovers 2. A penalty coolly converted by Josh Hawkes 9 minutes into the second half. It looked like a fair tackle, but the referee disagreed. Rochdale, as it stands, are staying up only because Crawley Town are drawing 0-0 with Colchester United. If Crawley score now, Rochdale will end their 102-year stay in the EFL. Rochdale 0, Tranmere Rovers 2.
Sani, thank you very much. As always, throughout this evening, our reporters are all over the matches happening in the EFL, especially those ones that have something riding on it. Promotion places, playoff places, relegation. Some of them can be decided this evening, and there are teams that can find themselves in a very nervous or a very hopeful situation ahead of the matches that are taking place tomorrow night. Again, we'll be across all of that. Also coming up for you tomorrow night, as we've been hearing from John Murray, we'll have Bayern Munich against Manchester City. City with that 3-0 advantage from the first leg at the Etihad. Chelsea with an uphill struggle against Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge this evening. They're 2-0 down from the first leg at the Bernabeu. A decent first half performance, though, has given them hope. No goals as yet. Your commentators at Stamford Bridge, Lee Dixon and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. Courtois getting booed as he makes his way to the shed end, but there is applause for Rudiger as another former Chelsea player makes his way onto the pitch, and that is a change being made at the start of the second half, and there is no Militao. So Eder Militao, who, remember, had picked up a yellow card in that first half, he'll be suspended should Real Madrid see out the next 45 minutes safely, as we're back underway, and I'll run through the two teams for you. So Chelsea in their royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks are now attacking the shed end. For those of you who know Stamford Bridge, that means that as we look, they're playing from right to left, and this is the team with Kepa in goal, a back three of Chalobah, Thiago Silva and Fofana, the wing backs Reece James and Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez, Kovacic, Gallagher and Kante behind Havertz, and Real Madrid in there all white with the exception of the black socks have Courtois in goal. A back four now of Carvajal, Rudiger, Alaba and Camavinga, Modric, Kroos and Valverde in the midfield, Rodrigo, Benzema and Vinicius Jr. As Camavinga almost showed too much under pressure from James to Havertz, gets it back towards his goalkeeper, Courtois to Carvajal. Little deft touch by Modric, releases. So in fact it was Alaba who went off, wasn't it? Not Militao. That was the change for Rudiger, because it was Militao who's just brought the ball clear, and now going down on that far side is Vinicius Jr. Wesley Fofana says he got the ball. Lee Dixon.
Yeah, he stuck his foot in and it looked like he caught some of the man as well, and it's a quite dangerous free kick on just short of the edge of the corner of the box, and certainly Toni Kroos will be the one who gets on the ball and delivers something into that danger area. They haven't had an awful lot of chances, Real Madrid, to do that, and Chelsea have just got to carry on where they left off. They don't need to change anything just yet. You don't want to go gung-ho early on in the second half and expose yourself and end up conceding a goal. So same again, I'm pretty sure Frank Lampard would have been saying that to his players.
Well, it's a free kick on that far side, the left. Benzema, Militao, Rudiger, Valverde, they all wait, and it comes from Kroos, and headed behind, climbing high was Chalobah to concede the corner.
It was a dangerous ball. Kepa deciding to stay on his line. When Chalobah headed that ball out, he's probably 2 yards off the line. Pretty sure he had a little look at his goalkeeper and says any chance of getting them orange gloves dirty and coming and either punching or catching that or doing something.
So Kroos wanders across to this near side, the right, attacking the Matthew Harding stand. 0-0 it remains. Pulls it out to Modric, right corner of the area. He chips over the cross, headed out by Thiago, volleyed back by Carvajal. Huddersfield have equalised at Sunderland in the Championship. 1-1 now in the Stadium of Light. Burton Albion 1, Bolton 1 is the latest score in League One. Cambridge 1, Wycombe 2, MK Dons 0, Charlton 1, also in League One. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. Don't forget 5 Live final score is available on the BBC Sport website and the BBC iPlayer tonight, as we're live here, 5 Live, and also available on BBC Sounds. Free kick to Real Madrid. Kroos rolls it out to Rodrigo. Rodrigo midway through the Chelsea half, back to the Vastly experienced German international. Rodrigo now right side of the area. Cucurella didn't know where the ball was. He got stuck underneath his feet. And now it's brought away by Fernandes. Havertz lays it off. Reece James, central area, outside the centre circle. Holds onto the ball and does well to run away from Vinicius Junior. Finds Fernandes. Reece James. Chelsea still looking for a goal. Remember, they failed to find the net in 14 of their last 24 matches. They can't afford to draw a blank here tonight to stand any chance of knocking out the European champions.
It's just that next pass, isn't it? They do all the hard work, they win the ball back, goes into midfield, and it's the next one. It's that real decisive cutting pass that opens up the back four of Real Madrid, and that's just lacking. But the effort and the application and the formation is working so far, and I'm pretty sure when the subs start being made from Frank Lampard's, it'll change the game again.
Ball played forward, Kovacic finds Fernandes. Kante releases it early. Reece James. Camavinga stands up to him, gets a foot into the challenge. When does Frank Lampard make that change? When does he decide to twist rather than stick?
Well, again, you don't need to do it just yet. And I think Camavinga's gone down on the challenge of Reece James by the look of it, and he's getting a yellow card for his trouble.
And Reece James will be suspended should Chelsea progress, as it's still 0-0 on the night, 5 minutes into the second half. The London side trailing 2-0 on aggregate against the European champions, the 14 times winners of Europe's elite competition, a team that have real pedigree and are looking to use all of that experience to try and see them through to the last four. It's going to be a lengthy stoppage. There's been a goal at Shrewsbury. The leaders Plymouth were behind, the last we heard from Chris Coles.
Not anymore. Equaliser for Plymouth. Ball to the back post. Downward header by Joe Edwards into the net. They're still slipping to second to Plymouth, given Wednesday are leading Bristol Rovers, but parity for Plymouth at Shrewsbury, 1-1.
And Wrexham at the top of the National League are leading Yeovil Town by 1-0. Yeovil will be relegated tonight. Wrexham, well, they then require 3 points from their remaining 2 games for Phil Parkinson's side. Let's go to Chris Temple at Gillingham.
Still Gillingham 1, Leyton Orient 0, but Orient still on course for promotion. That because Northampton are winning, but Bradford are only drawing. If Orient don't get the point they need here with 10 men, they can only be delayed by wins for both Northampton and Bradford. 1-0 Gillingham.
Thank you, Chris. They could have won the title tonight as well, but that was if they were to win, and Stevenage failed to win. But Stevenage still leading at home to Doncaster Rovers at the top of League 2. It's the Champions League. Tomorrow night we're live in Munich. Bayern Munich against Manchester City. Seville on Thursday for that return leg of Sevilla against Manchester United, 2 apiece after that first leg at Old Trafford. And here we are at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea, looking to try and prize their way open back into this tie. 0-0 on the night. 7 minutes into the second half. Havertz on that far side, the right. Havertz with a cross. Kante was loitering. Gallagher with a header. Kante! What a block that was from Militao. 2 bites of the cherry for Chelsea. Real still stand firm.
2 brilliant stops. Got to be in the right place as a defender. He's goal side and he's close enough to Kante to put an excellent block in. His instinct to stick his leg out, to put his body in the way. And he's 4 yards out. It's a great block.
Corner comes in. Oh, it was a poor corner by Enzo Fernandez. No elevation whatsoever. Didn't beat the first man. Cleared away with ease by Carvajal. Out of play. It goes for a throw. If Chelsea could just score one, this place will really take off, and we'll be set for a stirring finish at Stamford Bridge. All of a sudden there's a break on, and it's Real Madrid, and it's led by Valverde, and it's 4 against 3 in favour of the Spanish Giants. Out towards Vinicius Junior to Valverde, and seen back by Thiago Silva. Sonny Rudravajala. Rochdale Tranmere, what's the latest at Scotland?
It's Rochdale 1, Tranmere Rovers 2. Danny Lloyd, the former Tranmere player, with a brilliant effort from distance on his left foot. He is bringing this side back into the game. The fans have been on their feet here. They're raising the roof at the moment, but as it stands, it's still Rochdale 1, Tranmere Rovers 2, and they're
but they will not go down just yet. They'll be hanging on only because Crawley Town are drawing at home to Colchester 0-0. Chalobah forward. Chalobah goes down under the challenge from Militao. Militao's on a yellow card. Cucurella has gone straight to point that out to the referee, Daniel Orsato. The referee has to stand firm.
Well, he's got no decision to make. I don't think it's a yellow card at all. Every foul isn't a yellow card. It was good play. He was running towards the corner flag, away from goal. He's tried to get his feet out the way of him, and he's clipped the back of his heels. It's not a yellow card for me. I think the ref got it absolutely spot on, but the Chelsea players and everybody around us with the Chelsea flag in their hands disagrees with me and the ref.
Well, that would have certainly made life interesting. The Chelsea crowd are playing their part. Great atmosphere inside Stamford Bridge. 9 minutes into the second half. Militao certainly has to be careful now.
Yeah, his next one won't be so lucky. I'm pretty sure the refs, with the attention that he got from the Chelsea players. But this is a brilliant position. We've got Reece James, the two wing backs on the ball. Cucurella with his left foot, Reece James with his right.
Cucurella threatens to take it. Reece James with the in-swinger, headed up in the air by Benzema. Drops on the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo's header away, flicked back by Kovacic to James on this near side, the left. Comes on the inside of Rodrigo, away from Modric. Plays a square ball. Enzo Fernandez to shoot from distance. Drags it wide, right-footed. Just shy of 30 yards off target. Goal kick, 0-0 on the night.
Well, Reece James cutting inside. He was on the left and taking that free kick. Cuts in on his right foot, and then again, and that creates a bit of space for Fernandez. He wanted the ball, but when he got it, to be fair, he didn't look as if he was going to hit the target. It wasn't very convincing.
Harrogate Town have got a second goal at home to Walsall, so a Crawley goal now would condemn Rochdale to life in the National League, with them trailing by 2-1 at home to Tranmere. Here is Kovacic, forward ball to Havertz on the stretch, turns away from Rudiger. Gallagher, his diagonal ball out towards Reece James, headed away. Gallagher though tries to win it back. Kovacic does well. Skipped over the challenge of Kroos. The referee has brought it played back for a free kick for Chelsea for that challenge. Kroos on Kovacic.
Yeah, it's getting spicy out there now. There's tackles flying everywhere, and by the look of it, there might be a few more yellow cards and maybe a red one.
Former England international Lee Dixon with us here tonight. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Kovacic. Come on Chelsea is the cry from the faithful. Here is Havertz. Kante back to Havertz. Havertz with a shot and just pushed away and saved easily at the second attempt by Courtois.
Brilliant feat from Havertz. He gets the ball, he turns, little 1-2 with Kante on the edge of the box, gets it out of his feet, no backlift, gets his left foot shot away. Because of the no backlift, there wasn't an awful lot of power in it. He was trying to get to the corner of Courtois' goal and just failed.
Here is Thiago back to Kovacic. Now runs forward. Ball played in field. Back with Thiago once again, and we're approaching the hour, and it is goalless still on the night here at Stamford Bridge as Reece James, lapse of concentration, goes in between his legs and out of play it goes for a throw. Napoli 0, AC Milan 1 is still the latest score in Naples. Milan lead 2-0 on aggregate. The final, incidentally, is in Istanbul on the 10th of June. It's Carlo Ancelotti's birthday that day, as Rodrigo scampers away from Chalobah. Rodrigo towards the byline, pulls it back, far post, missed by Benzema. Vinicius Junior back towards Rodrigo. That's the goal that Real Madrid wanted. The sheer pace of Rodrigo created the opening in the first place. Chelsea never dealt with the danger, and from close range, Rodrigo gets the all-important goal for Real Madrid, who lead by a goal to 0 on the night and 3-0 on aggregate.
Well, it was just a matter of time before the pressure on the Real Madrid defence started to tell, but then they go down the other end with that superb break, using the pace. Chalobah thinks he can win the ball, he doesn't win it, and then Chelsea are playing catch-up. 2 or 3 men in the box when the ball came across. In the end, Rodrigo gets it pulled back to him, and he just 5 yards out, he can't miss. He just lifts the ball. And there's a little bit of there's a few Real Madrid fans knocking about where we're sitting, Deno, and they jumped up and the scarves went up in the air, and there's a few Chelsea fans asking them politely to leave the stand, I think.
Yeah, that was probably not the wisest thing to do inside Stamford Bridge. So the stewards are moving in. It's just in front of us where it's all happening. I think the stewards would be very wise to remove them ASAP. But Real Madrid 1-0 up, and that is a real blow as far as Chelsea are concerned, because they needed 2 goals without reply to take us to extra time. Now they're going to have to try and find 3 in the next half an hour. And you used the expression before about popping the balloon, and it feels a little deflated now inside Stamford Bridge, as Chelsea have really got to go for it. Here is Cucurella. Cucurella lifts the ball in. Fofana joins the attack. Camavinga heads the ball away. And now it's with Gallagher. Gallagher with a shot straight at Courtois.
Oh, 6 men virtually in the box attacking, showing some sort of response to that goal. And it really doesn't change an awful lot, to be honest with you, Dano. They needed 3 to win the game.
Yeah.
They just need 3 to draw the game and take it to extra time. So that all-important first goal is what Chelsea are looking for, and we said they need to keep a clean sheet at the other end.
Vinicius Junior now running forward. Vinicius Junior to the left-hand side of the penalty area, cleared by Wesley Fofana. It was always very difficult. When you approach this game tonight, you thought that Real Madrid would score. They've now scored in each of their last 16 Champions League matches since Paris Saint-Germain in February 2022. They're 1-0 up. Certainly then with Real Madrid looking to the semi-finals. Carlo Ancelotti, possibility of taking on Milan, his former club, when he turns 64.
64.
He'll be 64.
Wow.
Question is, will Real Madrid still need him? Will they still feed him?
Don't go there.
That's what Chelsea have struggled, feeding their front line tonight. No, I won't worry, I won't go there. I won't break out into
Too late,
song.
you did.
Here is Havertz.
It's already in my head.
If I keep you awake at midnight, that'll be the last thing that you would require. Ball forward by Kante, hook goalwards by Enzo Fernandez. Well, I asked you earlier about when the change is going to make. Surely now you'd think 29 minutes, they've got to bolster the front line now.
Yeah, Frank Lampard's talking to Modric just now. There's another couple looking like they're going to take the bibs off as well. It's such a shame, because apart from the blunt forward end of the pitch, they've done everything right. The 2 chances in the first half, you have to say, from Cucurella and Kante, were absolutely gilt-edged chances as well.
Yeah, they were.
And just failed to take them, and then there was always going to be a chance of a breakaway, and sure enough, Real Madrid absolutely nailed that one.
Cucurella with a throw. A couple of goals to tell you about. Exeter 0, Derby 2. In fact, it's now Exeter 1, Derby 2, and Grimsby 1, Barrow 0. Burnley, the leaders, are still drawing away at Rotherham, but there's been a goal at Bramall Lane. Aaron Paul.
Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0, and it's a bit of quality from Illiman and Jai to set up James McAtee to break the deadlock here. And Jai down the middle had plenty of space as he got into the D, fed it out wide. There was McAtee to just plant the ball past the goalkeeper. No title for Burnley as it stands tonight. Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0.
Cucurella back to Gallagher. Gallagher gives the ball away to Rodrigo with his searing pace on the right hand side. And I said about the changes, João Felix is going to be one, Mudryk is going to be another. It's actually going to be a triple change being made by Frank Lampard, so he's got no other option but to go for it. But there's a penalty at Gillingham. Chris Temple.
It's a penalty to Gillingham, which gives them the opportunity to go 2-0 up here. Remember, Orient needed a point to seal promotion. Che Alexander away to our left is about to take this. Lawrence Vigouroux, the Orient keeper, dancing up and down on his line. Here comes Alexander, right-footed, and scores. 2-0 to Gillingham. Orient still going up with results elsewhere. They look like they're not going to get the point they needed here.
But if Bradford City were to score at Swindon, then that would change Sterling, Mudryk and Felix are the players who are going to be coming on for Chelsea as we wait for this triple change to be made, with Chelsea trailing by 1-0. Wrexham have got a second goal, so they take another decisive step towards returning to the Football League. 2-0 up at home to Yeovil at the racecourse ground. Yeovil will be relegated from the National League. Newport County 0, Mansfield 2 is the latest score. Harrogate 3, Walsall 0. Cucurella back towards Gallagher. 5 Live and BBC Sound. 63 minutes played. Chelsea need now a minor miracle here against Real Madrid, as Thiago Silva steps forward, out towards Reece James. Back with Thiago once again. Flat ball comes in. Cucurella heads it back towards Gallagher. Gallagher wins the ball, edge of the area. Fernandes with a shot, beaten out by Courtois. Again, he got down so agile, so quickly did Courtois. He's made a number of just 2 or 3 stops that have just kept Chelsea at bay.
They have. And it was a good shot as well. Fernandes got a little bit of bend on it, a little bit of swerve with that left foot, and another ball into the box from the right hand side with Reece James, and Courtois again, safe pair of hands, and a quick ball out to Toni Kroos, and they're just taking the time on the ball now. Real Madrid, they know they've got that goal that should take them through, but a goal here, it still changes a lot of things, and certainly the subs that we've got lined up in front of us, very attack-minded, as you would expect.
Well, I can still remember, and I'll always remember it, with as a hold on Rodrigo, referees played the advantage. There was a foul there on Benzema. Now it's with Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior does a little step over. He's waltzed his way through the Chelsea defence. Rodrigo now finds Benzema. Benzema, weak shot, low left-footed, saved by Kepa.
Well, it just fell to the feet of Benzema. It's not like him at all, not to get any purchase on the ball at all. It was almost a tap-in for him, but he's hit it straight at Kepa.
I remember being at St James's Park 13 years ago, Newcastle United 4-0 down to Arsenal.
Yeah. I remember I was sitting at home watching that.
And Newcastle somehow managed to get it back. So if that can happen, anything is possible. But this is a Chelsea side that is not creating chances at will. They have carved out the odd 1 or 2. Courtois has been equal to them, but Sterling, Felix and Mudryk are going to be coming on. Reece James, meanwhile, with the cross low, cleared by Rudiger. But asking them to score 3 times in the next 24 minutes is an extremely tall order for Frank Lampard's side. Frank Lampard, incidentally, who's lost his last 7 games as a manager, 13 without a win as a manager, if you include that tail end of his spell at Everton before he got the sack at Goodison Park. Now will the change be made as the ball goes out of play? It would be interesting from a neutral just to see how Real Madrid would react if Chelsea could get a goal back. First of the changes is Conor Gallagher, who's going to be coming on. João Felix comes on. Hasn't scored in 7 appearances against Real Madrid in his career. He's drawn 3 and lost 4. Mudryk waits. When I saw the extended highlight of the Brighton game at the weekend, Mudryk will certainly, with his pace, will offer a little bit of cut and thrust as Raheem Sterling comes on, and Cucurella is a player who's sacrificed. So who is the other one to go off? Was that Fernandes?
Yeah, Fernandes.
So Sterling for Fernandes and Mudryk for Cucurella. And there the changes being made by Frank Lampard.
Yeah, Mudryk going to a left wing back, taking over from Cucurella's job.
Chelsea are 1-0 down. Sterling wins the ball into the penalty area. Modric is there. Modric plays it short to Rudiger. Rudiger clears. Benzema inadvertently gives the ball away to Kante. Dug the ball out. Mudryk lays it off. Kovacic, short diagonal ball. Mudryk picks it up. Blonde-haired Ukrainian. Out towards Felix. When I said it was a fresh night in spring, wouldn't have necessarily said it's a night for wearing gloves, but João Felix has come on wearing gloves. As now Kante gets the ball out, plays the ball out wide. Sterling unmarked, right-hand side. Sterling enters the penalty area, looking for a sight of goal. Comes out towards Reece James, hits it early, and turned behind by the right leg of Militao for a corner kick to Chelsea as they trail 1-0.
Oh, straight away, Mudryk on this left-hand side, committing players, then it gets switched over to the right, and Sterling again gets inside the box, takes his man on, making something happen straight away from coming on as substitute.
No way back for Yeovil, and no stopping Wrexham. 3-0 they lead Yeovil by a goal to nil. Carlisle United 2, Stockport County 1 is the latest score at the top of League 2. Corner kick, far side the right, aimed towards Thiago, headed further away by Militao for Real Madrid. Reece James out towards Mudryk, who plays the ball back and in field. And I'm hearing of a stoppage in play at Priestfield in League 2. Chris Temple.
Twists, turns and floodlight failures, Ian. We're in pitch black here at Priestfield with 10 minutes to go, and Gillingham leading Leyton Orient 2-0. The whole ground, a power outage, knocked all of us off air, and we still have no light, so play has stopped here.
Thank you, Chris. Leyton Orient still getting promoted. Now this must be a VAR check. Whilst we were away, Chelsea had a penalty appeal. The ball went out for a throw, but the referee, I think, has indicated not to take the throw immediately. So this means that the Massimiliano Arati will be having a look at that, although he didn't look at it for long.
As you were looking down at your notes, I went, he's not going to be looking for long because they're already taking the throw in. But at Havertz, he tried to turn and just got some sort of contact with the defender. I couldn't see who it was, but he went straight down and arms up saying penalty, but nothing happening.
Sterling with a cross, drops out of play for a goal kick. Goal at Rotherham in the Championship. Adam Cottier.
It's Rotherham 1, Burnley 2. Burnley back in front. Their second half sub, Manuel Benson, with a lovely curling left foot shot from the right channel just outside the box after a fine tackle in midfield from Josh Cullen. Burnley back in the lead here, 2-1 up at Rotherham.
But because Sheffield United are leading at home to Bristol City, there will be no title tonight for Vincent Kompany, as there's going to be a change below. Carlo Ancelotti it's going to be making the change, and it's going to be Chouameni who's going to be coming on, and it is Benzema who is the player comes off. He doesn't seem too impressed with that decision, actually.
No, he doesn't, does he?
Still looking for his 350th goal after not scoring against Cadiz at the weekend. So Chouameni is on, just to shore up the midfield. 19 minutes remaining of normal time. Real Madrid are leading by a goal to nil. And if Manchester City, as you would expect in their current form, see out the 3-0 cushion that they have in Munich tomorrow, will have a repeat of last year's semi-final, which was a titanic tussle between Real Madrid and Manchester City.
Another semi might be quite tasty as well, eh?
It would. With Milan still leading in Naples by a goal to nil, with Giroud, meaning that they need 2-0 on aggregate. And Inter, I'm sure, with home advantage against Benfica tomorrow, leading 2-0 themselves going into that return game at San Siro. Stockport County have equalised at Carlisle United. Carlisle 2, Stockport County 2. And good news for Leyton Orient, because Bradford City have fallen behind. That means that Leyton Orient will be getting promoted tonight. Swindon Town 1, Bradford City 0 is the latest score at the county ground. Corner kick comes in on that far side for Chelsea, still trailing by a goal to nil. Mark Hughes, of course, a former Chelsea player, his side unbeaten away from home in 2023. That's a blow for their own automatic promotion hopes with that goal for Swindon 8 minutes from time. And Ipswich Town have turned it around at home to Port Vale. It's Ipswich Town 2, Port Vale 1. The last we heard, it was Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 1. So Ipswich, as it stands now, go to the top of the table, and Plymouth drop out of the top two. Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth and Barnsley is how it reads. A point separates Ipswich and Plymouth at a very congested top of League One. 5 Live and BBC Sounds on a busy night of football. Tomorrow night we're in Munich, Thursday we're in Seville. We're back here on Saturday for Chelsea's women against Barcelona in their Champions League semi-final. 3 o'clock Leicester Wolves, and then the first of the 2 FA Cup semi-finals at 4:45. Football all the way on BBC Radio 5 Live on Saturday. Valverde out towards that far side. Vinicius Junior, left-hand side, rolls the ball back. Ball played out by Kroos. The olays now from the Spanish supporters as the reverse look at the pass, and then the ball is hit low. Valverde tries to lay it off towards Rodrigo. Hooked up in the air by Mudryk. That's a real up and under for Thiago to deal with inside his own penalty area. And now it's with Felix, but the time is ticking away as Felix scampers away from Militao. Strong running. Oh, they had two over, but Camavinga got the vital touch with the block.
Oh, what an opportunity that is. Brilliant work from Felix to begin with. Takes two players on and he's away. Simple pass out to two players on that far side, and he mistimed it completely. Did all the hard work there.
Another goal at Rotherham. Adam Cottier.
It is Rotherham 2, Burnley 2. Rotherham giving their survival hopes a real boost. Georgie Kelly with a right foot finish from McBenney's cutback. They've done really well here, Rotherham. It is 2-2.
Accrington have got a goal back at home to Peterborough United in League One. Accrington 1, Peterborough United 2. Chelsea have scored only 13 goals in their last 20 matches. We're now asking them to find 3 in the next 16 minutes for the most unlikeliest of comebacks against Real Madrid, who are aiming to reach the semi-final for the 11th time in 13 seasons. 5 times winners in that period. That is rich pedigree. James to Thiago. We're on air with Lady Kelly until 10:30 when Colin Murray takes over. Wesley Fofana just presented the ball to Kroos. Modric hits it early, and now it's with Vinicius, and Vinicius away from Chalobah. Vinicius enters the penalty area, Mudryk comes back at him, and in a pincer-like movement they just squeezed him out.
Yeah, Vinicius looked like he was away then. Chalobah needing a bit of help, and he gets it from Mudryk, the left back, wing back, who Chelsea need at the other end of the pitch, to be honest with you.
Newport County 1, Mansfield 2. Newport County have a goal back in League 2. Here is Mudryk. Mudryk's done well, edge of the area. The shot didn't match the approach play. High over the top.
Yeah, brilliant bit of skill. Bring the ball back over his shoulder and then take two players on, beat both of them, and then it went to his right foot and he just leaned back, skied it right over the bar.
Now we're going to have changes from either side here. We're going to have Dani Ceballos, who you'll remember from his 2 seasons on loan at Arsenal, and in fact the 2 number 19. So Ceballos is going to be coming on, and it's going to be Kroos who comes off. So that's like for like for this Real Madrid side. They made 6 changes, incidentally, at the weekend for the 2-0 victory against Cadiz, who by all accounts they absolutely battered. And Mason Mount will be coming on as well, and it's Havertz who goes off. Meanwhile, there's been another goal at Scotland. Sonny Richard
Rochdale 2, Tranmere Rovers 2. Ebanks Blake Randell has scored in the 93rd minute. Header from a corner. Rochdale are still in this. Rochdale 2, Tranmere Rovers 2.
Thanks, Sonny. No other goals elsewhere to tell you about. Mount on for Havertz.
Yeah, João Felix just going in that almost like a false 9 position, straight down the middle of the pitch. Mount to his left, and on the right hand side Sterling, and Conte's just sort of floating around anywhere he wants, trying to find space.
I'll run through the latest scores for you very, very soon for what has been a busy night in the Football League, with a number of issues slowly but surely coming to a head. I mean, there was a chance that Wigan could have been relegated this midweek, but they're leading at Stoke City by a 1-0. Bottom of the Championship, keeping their faint hopes alive as Camavinga forward. Out to Vinicius Junior, left-hand side, and tries to go on the outside of Wesley Fofana, who stands up to him, up towards Reece James, back towards Kovacic, forward, Felix with a layoff. James there couldn't get there, and Vinicius Junior running, in fact, Chouameni with the foot into the challenge. But it's running away from Chelsea now. That goal really did make their task so much harder, as Real Madrid lead by a 1-0. Grimsby have beaten Barrow by a 1-0. So in fact, what I'll do, I'll wait for the full times to come in, because most of them are 7:45 kickoffs, with the exception of Millwall 0, Birmingham City 1, and then that will give you the picture. There's still no power, incidentally, at Priestfield. What's happening, Chris Temple?
Well, we've been off for 10 minutes here. We're still sat in pitch black, apart from a few lights in the stand, Deno. But the Orient fans away to my right didn't need any light to hear of that goal against Bradford, which has pretty much confirmed that Orient will go up tonight, even if this game doesn't get back on. But it's a power cut across the town of Gillingham rather than just in the stadium, with Gillingham leading 2-0.
Well, at the top of League One, Plymouth started the night top. Then at one time it was Sheffield Wednesday. The last we heard, it was Ipswich in the live league table, if you like. It was Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 1, but there's been another goal. Chris Coles.
A 95th minute winner for Plymouth. The League One leaders are going to remain the League One leaders thanks to Callum Wright's header from a back post cross. It's heartbreak for Shrewsbury, but isn't this exactly what champions elect are made of? Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 2.
And back to Sani at Spotland full time.
Rochdale 2, Tranmere Rovers 2. Ebanks Landell's header from a corner has saved Rochdale. They've got a draw, but if Crawley score now, it'll be too little too late. As it stands though, 2-2 at full time here.
Could be too little too late for Real Madrid, for Chelsea, as Valverde steps in, pulls the ball back to Rodrigo, and Real Madrid have scored a second goal. Valverde just accelerated his way into the penalty area, just pulled it back, and Rodrigo had the easiest of tasks. Rodrigo with a double, and Real Madrid, the reigning champions, are through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was always on the cards. Chelsea pushing forward, leaving a few gaps. It was a big long ball from Rudiger over the top. And when the ball came in the box in the end, Valverde did brilliantly well just to evade a couple of challenges and then just rolls it on a plate to Rodrigo, who was 6 yards out with an open goal. Kepa tried to get back and gave him a little bit of afters as he put it into the net, but he was never going to get there. And as you said, the tie is over, and a lot of the Chelsea fans now around us getting up off their seats and walking out.
Yeah, no season, the Chelsea season is effectively over. Their outside hopes of silverware in the Champions League, they were always the outsiders when the Champions League draw was made, and further distance of course with the first leg last week, and Real Madrid now have doubled that and are leading by 4-0 on aggregate. Full time at Bramall Lane in the Championship, Aaron Paul.
Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0. A fierce strike from James McAtee bags all 3 points for United and means that Burnley can't clinch the Championship title tonight. It's a big 3 points for Paul Heckingbottom's side on the road to the Premier League and success in the warm-up for Wembley. Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0.
And Rochdale will not be relegated tonight. They've drawn 2-2 at home to Tranmere, but Crawley Town 0, Colchester United 0 is a final score. So for the time being, Rochdale are safe, although they are 8 points adrift of Crawley with 3 games left to play. Asensio and Nacho have just come on for Real Madrid, and Carlo Ancelotti, of course, when the league and cup double during his time here 13 years ago at Stamford Bridge, it's going to be another happy return for him to West London, as Chelsea trailing 2-0 on the night. They gave it a go, but they just lacked that cutting edge, as we've been saying. Full time now at Shrewsbury in League One, Chris Coles.
Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 2. For 10 minutes, Plymouth was slipping out of the automatic promotion places in League One for the first time in 205 days, with both Ipswich and Wednesday leading, and Plymouth only drawing until Callum Wright's last-minute header followed up Joe Edwards' equaliser after Killian Phillips had put Shrewsbury ahead. Plymouth maintain their lead at the top of League One. They'd beaten Shrewsbury 2-1.
Felix with a shot, Mudryk low effort, right-footed, saved by Courtois.
Well, they're still giving it a go. 6 men in the box then for Chelsea. 2 shots, 1 blocked, 1 into the keeper, but it's too little too late. Spirited performance, you have to say, but again, the problems for Chelsea there for everyone to see. Just no potency up the forward end of the pitch at all.
So those 2 changes, it was Asensio who scored the second goal last week. He's come on for Rodrigo, and then it's Carvajal, isn't it, who's gone off for Nacho, who's played in both fullback roles and central defence this season for Real Madrid, who lead by 2-0. And we've got 7 minutes remaining of normal time. And for Chelsea now, well, in many ways, the inquest will start now, won't it? The fact that their season is over. Next season will be the first in 7 years that they've got no European football. Who's going to be the next manager? All the questions now will start to come about. Well, that was a loose ball from Kepa straight to Valverde, who redeemed himself, the keeper, diving forward in front of Asensio and bowls the ball out.
Yeah, there's a big clean-up operation. You've got to go ahead at this football club now. With the amount of players they've got, as you said, a new manager coming in at the end of the season. It's a mess, it really is. And someone's got to tidy it up.
Here is Reece James. In the National League, Yeovil Town have been relegated. They've lost 3-0 at Wrexham. Phil Parkinson's side require 3 points from their remaining 2 games to get promoted back to the Football League. Mudryk, a tired-looking cross, cleared easily by Militao. We're still awaiting for that game at Gillingham to conclude, but with Bradford City, well, still trailing at Swindon, which is the latest score, Leyton Orient will be promoted tonight, despite that defeat with the 10 men of Richie Wellens' side. Floodlight failure at Priestfield, cleared away by Nacho. Just a question now of seeing out the next 6 minutes for Real Madrid. Modric to Valverde, who passes the ball in field. Flag stays down. Vinicius Junior crowded out by 2 Chelsea players. No foul, says the referee. Still no change, incidentally, in Naples. Napoli 0, AC Milan 1. Full time now in the Championship at Rotherham. Adam Cottier.
Rotherham 2, Burnley 2. Burnley twice pegged back in this game. Georgie Kelly's late equaliser sealing a point for Rotherham that helps their survival hopes. Robbie Hemfrey came on for his pro debut in goal for them in the second half, made several smart saves, and it ends 2-2.
Well, elsewhere in the Championship, they're still playing in the 8 o'clock kickoff at Millwall. Millwall 0, Birmingham City 1. That's a blow for Millwall's playoff hopes. West Bromwich Albion, who started the day 11th, winning away at Blackpool by 2-0, actually jump all the way to 6th. So West Bromwich Albion now are in a playoff position after that 2-0 win at Blackpool that leaves Blackpool still struggling towards the bottom of the Championship. Asensio inside. This is Vinicius Junior. Chalobah, though, will step out of defence to bring the ball away. Rotherham 2, Burnley 2, as we heard. Sheffield United beat Bristol City by 1-0. So with 4 games to play, they're 8 points clear of third place Luton. Stoke 0, bottom of the table Wigan 1 was a result, and Sunderland 1, Huddersfield Town 1. A precious point for Neil Warnock's side to stop Sunderland moving into a playoff position. Vinicius Junior gives away a free kick. Lee Dixon.
Yeah, it's been a spirited performance, you have to say, from the first half, but Chelsea have just not got enough going forward, and Frank Lampard will be pleased with the way the formation worked in that first half. Second half to a certain extent, but as soon as Real Madrid scored, it's game over. It was always going to be that case, and they managed to last as long as they did, and that gave hope, and the fans stayed with the team up until that point. But you're looking around the ground now and it's probably half empty.
Yeah, a lot of empty royal blue seats around Stamford Bridge. At the top of League One, it chopped and changed throughout the course of the evening, with Sheffield Wednesday top, Ipswich top at one stage, and then Plymouth Argyle with a 96th minute winner as Real Madrid are in again. Vinicius Junior. Kepa makes the save quickly off his goal line, offside anyway, it wouldn't have counted. So as it turns out, the top 3 all won, and it remains a case of as you were. The results: Accrington Stanley 1, Peterborough 2, Bristol Rovers 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Burton 1, Bolton 1, Cambridge 1, Wycombe 2, Exeter 1, Derby County 2, Forest Green, who've been relegated 0, Fleetwood 0, Ipswich 2, Port Vale 1. Mudryk away here into the penalty area. Mudryk looking for a consolation, puts it wide. Right-footed, didn't even hit the target. And again, the flag was up. Lincoln 0, Barnsley 0, MK Dons 0, Charlton 1, Oxford 1, Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 2. So it's still 2 points that separate the top 3 teams, Plymouth, Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday. And those that remain still can't see Chelsea score.
I think the Chelsea fans would have been quite happy if it had gone in the net, even if it had been offside, because the chances have been few and far between. The 2 absolute, not sitters, but pearlers, as I call them, fell to Conte. And Cucurella in that first half, one of those goes in and the roof comes off this place, but it wasn't to be. And in the end, they've just ground them down. Real Madrid knew they'd get a few opportunities on the break in the second half as Chelsea pushed forward for that opening goal, and sure enough, the gaps appeared and they put the game to bed.
Yeah, it's going to be their 11th successive quarter-final tie that Real Madrid have triumphed in, leading 2-0 here at Stamford Bridge, a rapidly emptying Stamford Bridge, to look forward to a semi-final tie against either Bayern or Manchester City. The schedule, by the way, in terms of who plays who in the will be announced on the 19th of April. But you would imagine that one of City's dates in May will switch, because both Leeds at home and Everton away are scheduled for Sunday's kickoffs at this stage. So whenever one of the Tuesday night games will be played, then that will be a change to their Premier League schedule. As Asensio picks up a loose ball, and the referee is showing a yellow card to Mudryk. Swindon have beaten Bradford City by a goal to 0, which means that Leyton Orient will be celebrating promotion whenever that game restarts, Chris Temple.
Well, Ian, they just about have, because the game is just about to restart. The lights are back on, but the news of that Swindon-Bradford result came through, so the Orient players and coaching staff running onto the field to celebrate in a massive huddle before we could get this game back underway. Gillingham, by the way, will secure their safety if this scoreline stays the same as well. 2-0 up against Orient, but Orient are going up.
And certainly behind them, Northampton Town have done their chances no harm with a 2-1 away at Sutton, and Stevenage in third have also won tonight. The full-time scores in League 2, Carlisle 2, Stockport County 2, that was fourth against fifth. Crawley 0, Colchester 0, Grimsby 1, Barrow 0, Harrogate 3, Walsall 0, so that's a boost to their survival hopes. Newport County 1, Mansfield 2, Rochdale 2, Tranmere 2, so Rochdale not relegated tonight but hanging on. Salford 2, Hartlepool 0, Stevenage 1, Doncaster 0, Sutton 1, Northampton 2, and Swindon Town beating Bradford City by a goal to 0, which probably means that Bradford City might have to be content with a place in the playoffs. But that brings us up to date, and we're into stoppage time here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, they gave it a go, but ultimately didn't have the quality to beat Courtois.
Yeah, I've just seen on the big screen in front of us some stats come up about how many attempts on goal was 17 and only 3 on target, and that tells you everything you need to know about this Chelsea team at the moment.
And without a win in 7 now, and the losing run continues. It'll be a 4th straight defeat since Frank Lampard returned to Stamford Bridge. Kante coming forward, left meandering in the Premier League, toothless up front, and a lot of questions for the club to answer as a result of this Champions League exit. Real Madrid will await the winners tomorrow of Bayern against Manchester City. But when you think back to last season, and there was 2 mouth-watering, if we get anywhere near the same level of contest, that will be in for a treat as a neutral league.
Yeah, they're both juicy, aren't they, if they end up like we expect them to, 2 semi-finals. I don't mind getting some sort of ticket to that Milan derby.
Here is Militao back to Courtois. Just seeing out time now here at Stamford Bridge on BBC Radio 5 Live. Asmir Begovic will be joining Kelly and Lee to dissect the performance and the potential ramifications. Also, I don't know, maybe even look ahead to tomorrow's game against Bayern. I know we heard from John Murray at half-time. He'll be in Munich tomorrow. Usual build-up from 7 on BBC Radio 5 Live. And then Sevilla, Manchester United in the Europa League on Thursday night. Here is Asensio. Vinicius Junior looking to finish it off for Real Madrid. Stopped though by Kovacic. And it'll be a free kick to Chelsea in these closing stages. Well, here is Reece James. Chelsea, who had been, they were still in the tie, but that first goal was always going to be crucial for them, and it's just not to be. As Sterling over on that far side. James now 30 yards out from goal, short and forward to Kante. Just stepping there was Nacho out of defence to break it up, and once again Asensio picks it up, and it's 3 against 3. Asensio driving at the heart of the Chelsea defence, out towards the right for Valverde. Vinicius Junior waits, he's unmarked. They've also got a man over, and the ball shot comes in, and in the end it was straight at Kepa. And there is the final whistle, and Chelsea's season is over. They're out of Europe. When will they return to rub shoulders with Europe's elites? That is the question. But Real Madrid, the 14 times winners, are through to the last 4 once again. Winners 2-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate. Lee Dixon.
Yeah, it was just that the start of the game was so encouraging in that first half. The crowd got behind everybody and the team responded, and there was a show of defiance, if you like, to say no, we're not going out without some sort of effort in trying to win this game, or at least score a goal. And the first half they played well, but just the pointed end of the pitch, Dano, there's just nothing there. They get the ball wide, the ball comes in the box, there's nobody pushing in from the far side, there's no one in the middle of the goal, and they just look like they're never going to score.
And that has been Chelsea's Achilles heel for some time. They did have chances, but Real Madrid certainly took theirs in the second half. 2 goals from Rodrigo just before the hour, and then his second 10 minutes from the end. It's finished here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Real Madrid 2. Kelly.
Ian Dennis and Lee Dixon at Stamford Bridge. Asmir Begovic is also with us. Asmir, although there was a good 45 minutes from Chelsea there, that inability to convert chances into goals has cost them once again.
It's the same old theme really all season. Just unfortunate that they don't have that centre forward presence to put the chances away that they created. I mean, Reece James I thought was fantastic. I think the whole squad put in a huge shift and gave it a really big effort, but just no cutting edge in the front, and they couldn't capitalize on any of those chances created, and it seems like it's been a story for Chelsea all year.
When the dust settles on this performance, will there be... Yes, there'll be disappointment not to advance to the semi-finals, but and they will look at underperformances in the rest of the season as well. But will there be maybe a conversation about some green shoots appearing from that performance in the first half?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we said before the game, there's talent in the squad. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's good players, top players, but it's just an imbalanced squad. I mean, you look at how heavy they are in the midfield and the amount of centre halves and defenders. You know, they have 2 fantastic left backs, so that there's definitely talent around the squad. It's just probably in a couple of key areas where the people make the difference, and that's where you see Real Madrid in the 2 legs. You know, the players that score the goals, it's the front players making a difference. They get a couple of chances, that's all they need to make sure they score 1 goal, and that's just the difference where those teams like Real Madrid are at the moment, and Chelsea are obviously a little further behind.
Disappointment for Chelsea, but the small corner of Real Madrid fans at Stamford Bridge celebrating with the players as they go through to the Champions League semi-final, where it looks like they'll be facing Manchester City because of their 3-goal advantage over Bayern Munich. That game is live on 5 Live Sport tomorrow night from Munich.